Okay, so let's unpack this. We're in this era, right? AI's growth. It feels almost limitless, changing, well, pretty much everything. But this huge advancement, it's kind of run headfirst into a really old school problem.
Energy. Just raw power.
Exactly. Powering these massive data centers, training these incredibly complex models, it takes a staggering amount of electricity.
Yeah, far more than our current energy grids can really handle easily. That's the bottleneck. The sources we looked at, they lay it out pretty clearly. AI's energy demand could double by 2030. Think about that. That means over 100 new, huge data centers globally.
Wow.
And some forecasts suggest AI might soon use more electricity than, like, entire countries. It's a serious check on future growth.
And this is where it gets, well, really interesting and honestly, a bit surprising. Instead of just waiting around for grid upgrades or, pinning hopes only on futuristic tech, major tech companies are stepping in themselves.
Taking matters into their own hands.
Yeah. And turning to established, even traditional energy sources. We're talking big names here. Meta, OpenAI.
And ventures backed by giants like Oracle and SoftBank.
It's quite a list.
Well, what's fascinating is this very pragmatic pivot. They need reliable, significant power, and they need it now.
Right. The urgency.
That speed and scale requirement is pushing them towards solutions that are, proven, things that can be deployed relatively quickly, even if they aren't the absolute newest thing in energy.
Okay. So our mission for this deep dive is to really get into these sources, understand why these super innovative tech giants are making these specific, sometimes kind of unexpected energy moves.
And what it tells us, about how AI and our power infrastructure are starting to collide.
Let's kick off with a really striking example, Meta.
Right. The sources detail their huge 20-year agreement for nuclear power with Constellation. It secures 1.1 gigawatts from the Clinton nuclear plant in Illinois.
1.1 gigawatts.
And it basically guarantees that plant stays running well past 2027.
A 20-year deal, that is. That's a serious commitment.
It is.
And the material shows it's not just about power, right? It helps keep jobs, tax revenue.
Yeah, for the community around the plant, absolutely. But from Meta's perspective, for their data centers, why nuclear?
What makes it so attractive?
Two key things really jump out from the sources: reliability and zero emissions. Nuclear gives you that incredibly consistent, always-on power, baseload power, they call it.
Essential for data centers running 24/7.
Exactly. And it does it without direct carbon emissions, which, helps them hit their carbon neutral targets. And crucially, this deal provides dedicated power. It adds capacity, but without needing extra financial support from regular utility customers. That's important.
Okay, so securing consistent, clean baseload power, that's one strategy. But then you look at ventures like Stargate.
Yeah.
Backed by Oracle, SoftBank.
Yeah.
They're looking at something totally different in Texas.
Yeah, Texas, where the grid is famously strained.
Right, facing limits on AI expansion there. Their solution, the sources say, repurposing old, abandoned natural gas turbines for immediate power.
This is all about speed and getting around grid congestion. Natural gas plants, you can get them online relatively fast. And by taking over existing or even abandoned infrastructure, they create their own power source right where they need it.
So it's a trade-off.
It's a strategic trade-off, yeah. They might lose a bit of energy efficiency compared to the very newest plants, but they gain immediate power and some independence from the main public grid issues.
Okay. And OpenAI, the sources show they're kind of tackling it from multiple angles at once.
Right, a broader approach. They're exploring various energy supply deals, just making sure they have consistent access as they grow. But also, and this is key, they're really focused on optimizing the energy efficiency of their own AI work.
Trying to do more with less electricity.
Essentially, yeah. Trying to get more computation bang for their energy buck, even while they're growing like crazy.
So if you look at these together, Meta's nuclear gives long-term clean stability.
Right. And the natural gas approach gives speed, independence, uses existing sites.
And OpenAI highlights needing diverse supplies and being more efficient internally.
These aren't like totally separate ideas. They all point to the same core problem. They need reliable, massive power, and the public grid often just can't deliver it fast enough for AI's speed.
This whole shift, it has big ripples, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Economically, the sources suggest we're seeing new private money flowing directly into energy infrastructure.
Yeah, potentially extending the life of older plants, creating energy sector jobs.
Environmentally, though, it seems complex.
It is. Nuclear is clean generation, but you have the waste issue. Natural gas is still a fossil fuel, cleaner than coal maybe, but it has emissions.
Plus the whole footprint of building all this new AI infrastructure itself.
Exactly. What this really throws into sharp relief are the competing priorities. The incredible speed AI demands versus energy efficiency, immediate corporate power needs versus long-term green goals, and how private company needs might impact this shared public infrastructure we all rely on.
So wrapping this up, what's the big picture here, the main takeaway?
Well, it's clear from these sources. Tech companies aren't just huge energy users anymore. They're becoming active players in energy supply.
Shaping the landscape.
Definitely. They're investing, making these long-term deals. They're basically helping steer the future of power generation out of necessity.
And this corporate demand could even, say, speed up a nuclear revival.
It could.
Yeah.
Or drive other energy innovations. But it's all happening because they must solve this power problem to keep the AI engine running.
For these companies, reliable energy is now as fundamental as, like, fiber optic cables.
Precisely. It's become maybe their biggest resource constraint, and they're tackling it head on.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Given the sheer scale of AI's energy needs, and these really dramatic, sometimes traditional solutions being chased by cutting-edge companies, how might your relationship with energy or our shared infrastructure, or even those industries you thought were, old school, how might that need to shift in the years ahead? Something to think about.